Hello, everybody. Welcome into Talking Fitchburg on this nice and cool Thursday. And yeah, February 3rd, 2022 will be marked by kind of cold, but the look ahead to warmer temperatures and more coming up. We've got a great show for you today. We're excited tonight bringing gymnastics back from the Verona Area High School. So we have that going on Fact TV tonight. So you might be seeing this a little bit earlier or after gymnastics. Either way, we're glad you're tuning in. We'll get you the latest headlines coming up. And we're going to be talking a couple different things. We'll check in with the Fitchburg Fire Department. Earlier in the month, we talked with Dorn. There were a couple of fatal fires, big fatal fires, unfortunately, on the East Coast. And we kind of reviewed each situation and talking about fire prevention. So you want to stay tuned for that. And then we checked in with the Chamber. Yes, the Chamber's back on as a regular monthly guest. Brandon will be here and share information on both an update on the Chamber and events coming up and more. So excited to have him back. And we'll take a look at that interview coming up. But first, let's get into the headlines. And if you want to join Team Fitchburg, that's what I've been calling it now. And I'm walking around telling people, by the way, that we're Team Fitchburg. If you want to join Team Fitchburg, we've got some job openings for you. Associate Planner is now open, environmental project engineer, fire science intern, police officer, or public works utility maintenance worker, a new position coming available there. So if you're interested in any of these positions, all you got to do is head out to our website, fitchburgwi.gov, to get the latest and fill out the application. Then you can be on Team Fitchburg. And yes, Andrew will sign autographs once you're part of our team. Social worker picture. Let's take a look here from the Senior Center. It says, if you are having difficulty with essential daily activities, call the Fitchburg Senior Center and ask to speak with social worker. They are happy to talk through your concerns over the phone, and if necessary and circumstances permit, can arrange a home visit. In-person appointments at the Fitchburg Senior Center are also available. You must call either Amy Jordan at 608-270-4295 to schedule an appointment. And of course, walk-in appointments are not available at this time. You can always call the Senior Center in general, 270-4290. Don't forget that 608. COVID-19 update in Wisconsin. The numbers, well, are looking better, but the cases are still in the critically high. Let's take a look here. And all 72 counties still in the critical high, but the numbers definitely significantly down. 5,162 new confirmed cases, 631 new probable cases, and still those deaths above 23 new reported deaths. Percent of positive cases is at 18%. If I remember right, the last time we checked this was at 22. And vaccination administered still holding strong here, at least with one dose. We're at 63.3% in the state and 59.4% for the completed series. Continue to do your part by getting vaccinated, mask up, stay 6 feet apart, and wash your hands when heading out. And finally, if you're wondering when to use a COVID-19 self-test, well, we've got the answer for you. If you have COVID-19 symptoms like a fever or cough, test right away. Don't wait. If you were in close contact with somebody that has COVID-19, wait at least 5 days to test. Don't waste your test right away. Save it. Those symptoms might not even develop. And finally, if you are testing before a gathering, test right before the gathering or as close to the event as possible. That way you can guarantee because you could test in the morning and by the afternoon you could be sick. So hard to say, or maybe got contact, whatever the case may be. If you want to learn more about any of this stuff, cdc.gov/coronavirus. That's where you can find more information. And finally, for all you chicken lovers out there, we follow a lot of different sources for information, but I love these tips of the week from the food safety folks here. So take a look at this one. Tip of the week. Raw chicken must be cooked or frozen within 1 to 2 days. You can keep cooked chicken in the refrigerator for 3 to 4 days. Andrew, listen up, because we talked about this, Andrew. The story was directly at you. How long can you keep and eat and reheat stuff? We argue about that all the time. 3 to 4 days, or freeze it within that length of time to be safe. And I think I've already had about a food poisoning this year, so I'll also take advantage of following these great safety tips. USDA, that's where we got this thing. And we share all of our stories, the links to where we got the stories from. So you can go and check this out and learn more about food safety and tell Andrew that he needs to eat his food sooner and not later. All right, we'll take a quick break. Coming up next, we're opening up our digest. We're going to check in with Adam Dorn from the Fitchburg Fire Department, talking about fire safety here after some recent fatal fires. Plus, a little bit later, we'll check in with our friends at the Chamber. Brandon will be here to share what's going on over there. That's all coming up on Talking Fitchburg.
It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus, so follow guidance from authorities where you live and stay home unless absolutely necessary. Use a delivery service for essential items like food and medicine. If you must make essential trips, stay 6 feet apart from other people. Wear a cloth face covering and wash your hands for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us.
Ready?
That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu. And especially this year, no one has time to get sick. Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me today from the Fitchburg Fire Department, my friend, at least I think it is, Adam Dorn. That was my New Year's resolution. Are we still buddies?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
I was so afraid that we weren't going to get into being buddies this year for 2022, but shoot, you've made my day already.
It's like we're bringing the band back together.
It's a pretty bad band if that's the way it's coming back together, but that's right. We're ready to go, Adam, to turn gears very harsh here. We're going to take a look at some very unfortunate situations. Within the last month on the East Coast, there's been 2 large fatal fires, and it's devastating that this has happened, but it does open up a chance to kind of talk through it. And you brought this idea forward, so I'm excited to talk about it. But fire in New York City and the fire in Philly both had fatalities, different circumstances for each. But if anything, we can find some fire safety out of this and what had happened in these different situations. So we'll start with the recent one in New York City, 17 fatalities so far as of the latest update. It was set higher, but thank God it's come down a little bit. But this one apparently, as it stands, there'll still be lots of investigating going on here. But closer to home is it potentially was started by a space heater. And we've talked about space heater, fire safety, heat safety already this year. But as you look at this as a whole, first and foremost, Adam, what did you see from this fire that stands out to you, minus the fatality of the surface?
Yeah, like you say, the number of fatalities on the surface is it's overwhelming for any department. I mean, in New York, this is the deadliest fire that they've had since 1990 at the Happy Land Social Club there in the Bronx. But 17 people have passed away in this one fire, and 8 of those being children. I mean, that's a lot for a huge city like New York, but something like that could happen here. It's not that far-fetched with some of the situations that were presented there. You get a large building that does not have fire sprinklers in them. This is a strong possibility of stuff happening. People use space heaters to supplement, for the most part, their heating in their homes. And some people actually use the space heaters as the primary source of heating in their home, which is not the best way to be using a space heater. It should be for supplemental purposes. So that's one thing that's come out of this. And then the other thing that they've kind of found in the last couple of days here is that they're looking at some of the door closure devices that may or may not have been operational when this fire took place. That's really big because that's one of the reasons they're looking at to see if the smoke spread throughout the building because the door did not close properly.
And when the door doesn't close, and we'll talk two fronts on this. First, when you're looking at an apartment building or business complex, a lot of time, or even in schools, you'll see this, that doors just automatically shut. Fire alarm goes off, or smoke detector alarm goes off, shuts those doors and closes it. If the doors aren't closed in these buildings, what's happening that's helping increase the fire and the spread of smoke?
Yeah, not most of the time, it's not that it's going to increase the fire, but what will happen is that the smoke will spread throughout the building much easier and faster. It looks for this path of least resistance. So if your apartment is the one where the fire is at and you don't close that door, the smoke will go from your apartment out into the hallway. And now it affects not just one apartment, but every apartment that's on that hallway. That's why when we go do fire inspections, we want to make sure that the doors at the end of the hallways are closed because those are supposed to be shut. They're designed to be shut so it slows the spread of smoke throughout the building. Sometimes people will prop those doors open because they don't want to open a door when they're doing laundry, going back and forth, or they're moving in and out. That's one thing, but when you are done using that or having it propped open, and you're not going to go through that door anymore, those doors need to be shut. They're designed to be shut for a reason. So that's one of the possibilities that could have been in place here, that these doors did not all shut. I don't know for certain. I'm not saying that that's the case, but it's a possibility because we've seen it here in Fitchburg where there's apartment buildings where these doors, when we go do a fire inspection, they're propped open for whatever reasons. We unprop them so that they do close. So we're trying to make it safe for everybody. And then who knows what happens after that.
Yeah, and it's like I said, we don't know all the facts yet for coming in on that fire, so we're still gathering that, but definitely a tragedy. 60 people injured in that one as well, and mostly due to smoke inhalation. And smoke inhalation in general, if somebody doesn't have a SBA, how do you say it? SBAC? Is that get it right?
SCBA,
Well,
self-contained breathing
whatever.
apparatus.
I was just gonna say when you have your air pack on, but I thought it'd be cool. But yeah, Andrew hasn't told me enough yet to be cool. Yeah, that people are breathing in toxins. They're not gonna make it if they're not crawling out and staying below the smoke line.
That's right, and that's why we teach is get below the smoke or stay close to the ground where the good air is. Even us, we stay close to the ground when we can't see. It's not that we're breathing in the bad stuff because we do have our SCBA on, but for us, it's what can we see? How far can we see? How far can we move? Is there a lot of heat there? All of that stuff plays into a factor for us as to how fast we can move throughout a building and the tasks that we can get completed in a specific amount of time.
All right, changing gears, we're going to take a look at the Philadelphia fire. That one had 13 fatalities in it, including 7 children. This one, still not certain on the circumstances of what started said fire, but it's something that's come out of this in some of the reports is there were smoke alarms in the complex, but none of them went off, and can be devastating. This again, same as just talking about the last scenario. This is something that can happen easily in your home, apartment building, or business.
Yeah, and another tragic fire that hopefully we're going to be learning a lot from. But like you had said, there were at least 4 battery operated 10-year smoke alarms in the building. The problem is that none of them sounded. We don't know why yet, so I'm not going to try and get into the guessing game as to why that's the case, but they did not sound for whatever reasons. The guys in the fire department went in, they did search and rescue and they found multiple victims. What has come out through some of the investigations so far is that this is a single family house that had actually been converted into 2 apartments. So one of the things that we kind of take away from this is to make sure that we are going through all the proper channels when we convert we're converting a house into apartment buildings, or we're just going through a change of use or whatever it might be, right? We want to make sure that we're following all of the proper channels when we make these changes so that we can make sure that all the proper fire suppression, detection elements are in place when a new building or new occupancy takes place, or if there's other things that are needed. So it's one another, like I said, it's another tragic thing. There's, like I said, 13 people, and I think it's like 7 or 8 kids involved. Again, it's another huge city. And when we look at it from our perspective, like, oh, that couldn't happen here, but it really could. That, people divide up their houses and make them duplexes quite a bit. We just need to make sure that we're taking all the proper steps to make sure that it is as safe as can be. Because any kind of an event like this, even if it's just one person that's injured, the effect that it has on the staffing that we have and the additional resources that we call in is astronomical. It is, people would be very surprised as to what it really takes to help one person that's injured in a fire, let alone thinking 13 or 20 or whatever number you want to put in there. It's a lot.
Yeah. Said, and it's unfortunate that both these tragedies happen. But as you said, it gives us a chance, an opportunity to look at it, learn from it, and use it for education and training. So I'm glad we had a chance to talk about it. We just scratched the surface. We were kind of discussing that hopefully after some investigation, we'll be able to come back and take a look at these two incidences and see what happened and see what's coming out of it. I will note too that reading through both of these stories, the community outpour that both of these communities are seeing is pretty impressive as well. And as you said, 200 firefighters fought in the New York City fire. I didn't read on the other one how many were in the Philadelphia one, but it takes a large amount of people to deal with that, and that not only affected the lives of the people who were lost, the families, but the fire department, public safety. So it's everybody working together to come and keep it safe. And that's what we're bringing it here. We want to pass on and share some safety off of it because, a tragedy like that could happen anywhere, including right here in our own backyard. So Doran, thank you so much for your time and insight on this. We appreciate it. Happy New Year to you. And let's get started with another great year.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Jeremy.
You bet. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
After you joined our family, it was like, I really do feel complete now.
We're all just trying to keep things running for those who rely on us. That's why we don't have time to be sick with the flu.
We don't have time for delays.
We don't have time for spills. Next.
We don't have time for setbacks. Let's be real.
Getting the flu shot
Helps you fight the flu.
Get a flu shot for yourself and those around you too.
Brandon met a girl on a dating app. He finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving.
She must be a keeper.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Joining me for the Fitchburg Chamber, they're back. It's Brandon Rounds. Brandon, how you doing, sir?
I'm so good. How are you today?
I am doing wonderful. You are back, but you were never really gone.
No, we're always here.
You have been there, and the whole team there has been working so hard during the pandemic, and I can't thank you guys enough. I think there's so many things that happen at a chamber that everybody will never know behind the scenes and the good stuff that you're all doing. But you take a pandemic, I think the first place I would look to as a business is the chamber. Like, chamber, tell me something good. Tell me what's happening out there. So kind of looking back here in 2021 for the chamber, give us a little synopsis, kind of what happened at the chamber and what's been happening with our area businesses.
Yeah, I mean, just like you had said, we never really stopped working. We were always kind of behind the scenes, A lot of our stuff could be done working from home. So we were all working from home during the lockdown and everything, just trying to make sure that we were all remaining safe as well. But as soon as things kind of started to open up, we opened up our office and we were rotating, coming in one person at a time just to be here in case, our members needed anything. Our president and CEO, Angela, was working very hard behind the scenes, working with our local businesses to help with a lot of those grants and things that were going on. A lot of people didn't know what to do or how to fill them out. And she was, meeting with, local, county, and state officials to, really make sure that she had a grasp on, what was needed specifically for the businesses. Always writing, the letters of recommendation for our businesses as well. Even, and the thing that I love too is that even if the businesses weren't part of the chamber, she still offered her services to help them, make sure that our businesses are thriving here in Fitchburg. We did a lot of shop local campaigns. People were buying gift cards and, doing a lot of shopping online and things like that, and not actually going into stores. And we were focusing a lot on, that kind of stuff for our businesses to make sure that people were supporting with gift cards for their friends and family around the holidays and things like that. We did a lot of takeout campaigns for our local restaurants because restaurants were getting hit really hard as well. So just encouraging, our local community to utilize them for, takeout for their family and making sure we're supporting all of them as well. We, as a chamber, we also have, a lot of small businesses, a lot of large businesses. We were doing some different webinars. We kept doing some virtual webinars for networking. So we were doing some networking for people so that they could still meet new people and, still remember those friendly faces that you would see in our events. But we did marketing mission, which was focused on really online marketing because it was huge. I mean, it's huge right now, and it was huge during the pandemic. So we were focusing a lot of that stuff for our businesses too.
Do you think the pandemic really opened up the doors for buy local campaign? Because I feel like for me, I whatever community I live in, I try to support as much as you can. But I feel like you saw more people actually take advantage of the great things. And in Fitchburg, I mean, we are so fortunate with the different business and types and shops and restaurants that buying local, I think, got a boost. But from your standpoint, how does that look?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think so too. On our website, we have our business directory, and on our business directory, we have specific things that were buy local or takeout specified. And they were two of our top visited pages in 2021. So it was great to see that. It was great to see that for, people who were trying to support local. So yeah, we definitely saw that, and that was really great.
Yeah, I think such a good thing, and it's something that the chamber strives on, among other things, is shop local, and we got some great businesses here in Fitchburg. As we look ahead to 22, we're still in a pandemic, still going, but light at the end of the tunnel, no matter which way you look at it, because that's what I got to tell myself every day. But what should we look forward to from the chamber's perspective?
So as of right now, we are hoping to move forward with some in-person events. We would like to record a lot of the in-person events. We're starting Business Before 9 again in February. We are requiring COVID vaccination cards, and if you're not feeling well, stay home. So we require those and registration. We're not having as many people as we used to, just because we want to make sure that people feel safe attending our events. So, we're kind of moving forward with events that, that you've seen in the past, and possibly some new things that you might see as well. But, of course, we'll have the chamber golf outing in June. We've already got that set. It's a nice, fun outdoor event that we can do. And hopefully we'll bring back some more business after fours on some patios in the weather, if the weather's great as well. So we're looking forward to a fun, healthy, and prosperous 2022 for our businesses and our community.
Yeah, it'll be nice to get together. And it's big on the networking. I mean, if there was one other big piece, I think, to the chamber, it's networking, business to business, certainly. And they're itching, I'm sure, to get back and talk to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. We've had, we first started out doing a small event called Chamber Table Talk. It was in business before 9. We always had Chamber Table Talk in the beginning, where we offered a topic for a small roundtable discussion. And I wanted to bring that back to create a smaller group setting for our members before we brought back these bigger events, just to see the feeling of how people are feeling with getting together again. So we've been hosting this since November at Oasis Cafe here in Fitchburg, and I've kept it limited, but it always sells out for the amount of people that we have. I allow 14 people, so 2 groups of 7. And COVID vaccination cards are required to come, and people feel safe to come in and do that. So I'm excited to bring back, some of these events and remain safe, and hopefully people will be respectful like that too.
All right, Brandon. Well, thank you so much for the update. Glad you're all doing well out there, and thank you again so much for all your work behind the scenes and more. We're glad to have you out there. People want to learn more about the chamber, finding businesses, or just staying up to date on what's happening. Where can they find you?
You can find us on all social media, Fitchburg Chamber, or visit Fitchburg, and then also our website, fitchburgchamber.com. Give us a call at the office. We're always here. We're happy to offer recommendations if you're looking for something here in Fitchburg. So absolutely do any of that.
All right, Brandon, thank you so much. Looking forward to talking to you next month.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy.
You bet. Again, check out the Chamber's website and social media. If you're not following them, you're missing out. They got a lot of good information out there. We'll take a quick break. More to come. You're watching Talking Fitchburg.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be flood. Next Thursday?
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day.
I have no time for this.
So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life, but how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have prediabetes, a serious medical condition that puts you at high risk for type 2 diabetes. 1 in 3 American adults has prediabetes, but more than 80% don't know they have it. The good news is, prediabetes can be reversed, and for many people, healthy changes in their daily routine can make a big difference. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Severe weather can strike anytime, anywhere, but there's a simple way to stay safe. Hey, Jim Cantori here. I stay safe in dangerous weather by planning ahead. You can stay safe too with a few easy steps. Build an inexpensive kit with supplies for your family's needs. Write down important information like phone numbers and medications. Always talk with your family, and remember any pets in your planning. Be ready, be safe. Start your plan today at ready.gov/plan.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome back into Talking Fitchburg. Wrapping up the show for the day. I want to thank our guests, Brandon from the Fitchburg Chamber and Adam Jordan from the Fitchburg Fire Department joining us today. Those segments are online, so you can go and check those out through where, Andrew? Where? What? Yeah, Facebook, YouTube, and on our website, fitchburgwi.gov. And don't forget, if you have not tried the streaming channels, that's full HD, high quality stuff there, guys. And I'm not joking around. It's the bomb.